144 weeks ago, Kaylee Goncalves called Jack DuCoeur one of her V-Day essentials, along with chocolate and strawberries. Today is Sunday, November 20th, 2022, and Jack is getting some online hate, but Kaylee's family is defending him. Ever since the New York Times came out with the news that there were 7 unanswered phone calls made from Kaylee's phone to her longtime ex-boyfriend, Jack DuCoeur, in the early morning hours on Sunday, the day of the tragedy, according to Kaylee's older sister, Olivia, based on the phone logs she was able to download from the phone provider, people have been wondering a lot about Jack. Now, there are several Jacks in this case. Jack DuCoeur is the one named by the New York Times. The police also said that Maddie had made calls to Jack's number as well. The first call to Jack was at 2:26 a.m. and there were 6 more calls over the next 26 minutes with the final call at 2:52 a.m. Jack is also a student at the University of Idaho. He missed those crucial calls because he was sleeping. Kaylee's phone account did not show any other calls, but Kaylee's sister is saying that Jack, who hasn't responded to requests to the New York Times to discuss the case, Jack has been a childhood friend of Kaylee's and Maddie's, and he had been dating for several years until recently when they decided to take a little break. Kaylee's family is standing behind Jack 100%, and they know that Jack had absolutely nothing to do with the crimes at all. They're also explaining that amount of calls weren't unusual. Kaylee would often call people late at night and keep calling until they picked up, even to ask a mundane question like what she should have to eat. Now, on Saturday, November 19th, Kaylee's mom and dad, Steve and Christy Goncalves, also spoke out to Fox News to give a little bit more insight about Jack, to come to his defense, and, as we wait for the upcoming press conferences, to explain that there's so much evidence, but it's going to take a lot of time to process it all. The perpetrator was so sloppy, according to Kaylee's parents. He made a mess. And of course, they explain they don't know if it was a he or not. They haven't confirmed if authorities have DNA, but they know authorities have a ton of evidence. It just takes time to go through it all. Maddie's parents have chosen not to speak out, but they gave Kaylee's parents their blessing to speak out. Kaylee's parents said she was very aware, street smart. She was aware she was a pretty girl, which could attract problems. And Kaylee herself was a web sleuth. She was very aware if she thought someone was following her, Kaylee would call her mom. And then she would say, never mind, that person just turned into a 7-Eleven. They weren't following her. Kaylee's mom would say, why are you calling me? Why don't you call the police? So it stands to reason that perhaps if Kaylee were in trouble, she would decide to call Jack. But the parents went on to talk about Kaylee had just purchased a new vehicle. Kaylee had planned to backpack across Europe in January. She had a new job all lined up. She planned to start in February, but she said, Maddie has just got to see my new ride. Kaylee's parents had just spoken to her on Saturday. Kaylee's mom said, Kaylee called me on Saturday afternoon around 3. Now, previously, Kaylee's mom didn't get anything for her birthday. Woe is me, she was trying to say. But Kaylee wanted to make it up to her. She was saying, Mom, I'll be home Tuesday, take you out to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's all on me. Her mom was doubtful that Kaylee might pay for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but she was looking forward, of course, to seeing her daughter all the same. Maddie was an only child, but basically Maddie was Kaylee's sister. Kaylee's parents went over the top in saying how much they love Jack and stand behind him 1000%. Jack and Kaylee recently broke up, and that was on Kaylee's part, her mom said. They were on the mends of getting back together. Her dad said one of Kaylee's last messages to Jack was, Jack, get back to me. We share a dog together. Please come over. Jack is not, and they trailed off. They're wasting their time with Jack, said Kaylee's parents. Jack is our family, 2000%. We stand behind him. Kaylee and Jack would have been married, her mom said eventually. It was just Kaylee being a brat, saying, I just need a break. We don't think he's a suspect at all. But Their parents reached out to people who might have footage that's important and don't even realize it. Kaylee's dad said that Teslas are recording 24/7. So if you were in the area, look at the timeline. Try to remember any sketchy people. You might have some people caught on video or just caught in your memory. Is there someone who showed up at a hospital that was wounded? Kaylee's dad warned parents, have your daughter and son turn on their tracker apps if you're in the Moscow, Idaho area. I don't want to create a panic, her dad said. There's somebody out there and he's a psycho. If you're Maddie and Kaylee's neighbor with Wi-Fi, contact police. Volunteer it, don't make them come to you. The perpetrator might have been walking along with his phone and maybe it connected to your Wi-Fi, or at least tried to. Digital evidence is everything. Psalm 95, 1-2. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song. So while some online sleuths are trying to connect Jack to the food truck guy and comparing his shoes and claiming he posted weird things on Facebook or was distraught over the breakup, Kaylee's family is saying 100% that's not true. He's distraught, he loved Kaylee, and you're sniffing in the wrong direction. Stay tuned.